Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you have had a really good week. Excuse me. For those of you tuning in for the very first time, welcome, welcome. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, welcome. Be sure to subscribe. Dr. Nekeshia Hammond, YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like this video, and share. And excuse me, for those of you who are wondering about mental health moment, for the newbies, it is all about being the best version of who you are so you can show up for yourself and show up with the best version of who you are for those around you. I am actually back, you guys. Excuse my voice today. I'm back from Bali. I had an amazing 2-week trip with my family out there. The place is just stunningly beautiful, gorgeous, great people, great energy, lots of adventure, lots of fun. So definitely took my self-care time, you all, this summer to go on vacation and spend some time with family, and it was amazing. But I'm back now in the Tampa Bay area of Florida where I reside. Again, excuse my voice today. Let me grab some tea here, because on one of the flights home, the 14-hour flight that we were on heading back home, one of the flights, my son literally probably sneezed on me like 100 times. So of course I caught his little cold, and here I am today. So I'll be drinking some tea throughout today, just to try to save my voice a little bit. But I definitely wanted to be here with you guys. So good old kids, they love to spread germs to us, right? So today I'm gonna share with you 3 tips about excuse me, how to manage your stress, because a lot of us, no matter what season you're in, whether you may be in a season where you're like, I'm really stressed out, really overwhelmed, or you may be in a season where you're like, you know what, I'm sort of good, like I'm in a good place right now, in between maybe some stressors or things that happen. But either way, it's always good for us to be adding more tools to our toolbox, right? When it comes to stress management, because life is going to happen. That's just what happens. But before I start today and give you those 3 tips, if you are in the Dallas, Texas area, I will be there on Friday, August 18th. To do a keynote at a wellness summit, wellness symposium. Super excited about that. You can check out all the details, dr.nekeshiahm.com. Again, if you're in the area in Dallas, it's actually in Waxahachie. I've never been to that part of Texas, but closer to the Dallas area. And yeah, I would love to have you. Thankfully, due to some amazing sponsors, it is a free event. It's open to the public. Some of the events I speak at, of course, are closed events, and I can't invite you guys, but this one's open to the public. And I will be talking all morning about stress management, which we're talking about today too, but just going more into detail about that and how important our self-care is. If you want to come to that event, you do have to register. But again, it's a free event, Friday, August 18th, in closer to the Dallas area of Texas. So today, one of the things I really wanted to talk to you guys today about is this idea of mind-body connection. I know you've heard it before. Our mind and our body is connected, but a lot of times I don't think we understand that there's things we can do to really deepen that connection, right? So where you're at mentally sometimes, as you all know, will affect your body. So if you are stressing out, it could just be thoughts in your head. You're thinking about tomorrow, you're thinking about yesterday, you're thinking about what could have happened, what should have happened, what didn't happen. All of that type of stress that happens in your mind can absolutely affect your body, and vice versa, right? When we have all this stress stored in our body, it can affect your mind, because then you're worried about what's happening physically, right? So I'm going to teach you a couple of techniques today, or a couple of things for you to think about, 3 things for you to think about today and really add into your wellness routine. Talking today about stress, how do you manage that stress, and giving you a couple tools today. So the first one is, you may have heard about it before, but it's something called body scans, right? So basically what you do is, and it goes along with deep breathing. So important. I know you've heard deep breathing before. It gets a lot of attention. Probably you've seen on some meme or something like that, how important it is for deep breathing, but it's actually really, really powerful when you practice the deep breathing. But along with the deep breathing, you can also practice what's called body scans. So depending on how much time you have, I know all of us are busy. I'm busy too. So I like to do things that take small amounts of time, because I don't have maybe a 3-hour block. out of my day, right, to devote to self-care all the time. So I love things that take short amount of time, but still help. So with a body scan, what you do, you could take literally 5 or 10 minutes to do this. You can do this on your own, or you can literally Google, and there are so many scripts about how to scan your body. But what you're going to do, you're going to start with take some deep breaths, take like 5 deep breaths, and then you're literally going to work on in your mind scanning your body. So you start with, let's say, your head. How does your head feel? Do you have a headache? Are you feeling calm in your head? How's your neck feeling? How's your shoulder feeling? You're going to go throughout your whole body. Spend some time there though. If you have pain in those areas, you're going to work on breathing and sending life, sending calmness, sending good vibes, whatever you want to call it, to those areas. So for me, I tend to hold stress in my neck and shoulders. Like that's my area. All of us have some area. It might be your stomach for you. It might be somewhere else, your back or somewhere. But for me, it's my neck and shoulders, right? So I know when I do body scans sometimes that I have to really think about when maybe I don't have a headache and I'm kind of going down my body and I get to the neck area and I feel that tension because I'm holding on to something, to really take some deep breaths to move good energy, move good life, all those sorts of things in that area, because your goal is to try to calm your body down, right? Because our body's like, ugh, right, holding on to this tension of whatever we're stressed out about. So thinking about things like that, and you literally go from head to toe. And like I said, you can do this on your own, thinking about the major areas of your body, checking in with yourself. We don't do this enough, you all. We really just don't. We're so busy. We're running around. We have our to-do list and all these things, but we're not taking the time to check in with ourselves. But if we're going to become a better version of ourselves, right, we have to do the things that work to heal us, to make us better, to make us stronger, right? So that's one technique. So it's called a body scan. And again, if you want to Google scripts for body scans, there's a gazillion out there. And you can excuse me, what you could do, YouTube University, right? Or anywhere else, but you can either read one online. So you can read a script to yourself and you can record it with your own voice, or you can listen. I mean, there's a million on YouTube, right? That you can listen to someone else and they will say like, okay, take some deep breaths. Think about, like say your head, think about your neck, think about your shoulders, think about your stomach, think about your legs, think about your feet. Like they will go through the sequence to help you to breathe into those areas that you need for the relaxation, right? For those of you just tuning in, we are we are talking today about a couple of tips to help you deal. What are things you can do to help you deal with stress? All of us experience stress, different levels, different times, of course, but there's a lot of things that you can do to try to lessen your stress. And good evening from Boston. Welcome, welcome. And one of the things that I love, which I'll talk about, that's actually my third thing. But one of the things that I love about stress management is we can really work on readjusting ourselves. So again, I don't know what season of your life you're in. You could be in a season of a really dark time. You can be in a season of a high, of an amazing time in your life, right? Like it just varies. It just does. That's how life works. But either way, it's important for you to practice these tools. And I'm hopeful that you're not only going to be doing these stress management things in times of need when you're really stressed out, because especially actually in the times where you're feeling good, you're feeling okay, you can still practice these steps because it's more of a prevention, right? So just as how your physical health, right? There's things you do, you don't have to be sick to start to eat healthy, right? During that time, you start to eat healthy when you feel good too, because you're trying to prevent things from happening to your body. It's the same thing with mental health. So the wonderful thing about that is you've already recognized when your stress is highest, which is really important, you all. So again, checking, I can't stress enough. I know I get it. I get we're all busy, but I can't stress enough how important it is for you to be checking in with yourself. I know my stress is higher in the afternoon, for example. You might know for you, your stress is higher in the morning. Your stress is higher at night. Maybe you can't sleep. I've met a lot of people who have sleep issues because that's when their stress wants to hit. When their head hits that pillow, they think about a gazillion things that's happening in their life, right? So, but we all know where our stress hits us the hardest. Maybe it's a certain day of the week. Maybe it's a certain time of the day, but thinking about those things are really important, because then when you do insert some of your stress management techniques, you can do them at the times that are a little bit harder for you to get through, right? If your stress level is highest, it'll be a really good time, to be practicing a body scan, let's say. And also being realistic, you all, because again, some of this stuff I'm going to teach you today, you can't do it at every moment. You obviously have work, taking care of kids or grandkids or whatever it is that you're doing. But at the times when you can make the time and find the time, it's going to be important to implement these things. One of the things I love, before I share the other two tips, one of the things I love about wellness, you all, is it's so customizable. Like every week for years, right? I've been teaching on mental health moment, different things to do, but it's so customizable. So some of the things I'm going to teach you, you're going to be like, nope, I don't want to do that. Doesn't work for me. Or I don't want to do that. Don't. But some of the things you're going to be like, yeah, I can do that. Right? You found the time that works for you. You're committed to it because you said faithfully you do this. You made that commitment. And I'm sure, hopefully, I'm assuming that it's really making a difference in your life. Right? So that's a wonderful, beautiful thing. But yes, wellness, what you do is very customizable. Do what works for you. Okay. All right. So, second tip. The second thing is to not forget about, again, today we're talking about mind body connection, right? So, 3 tips. The first one was about doing some deep breathing with body scans. And again, if you need the scripts or if you want to listen to someone else's voice or record your own voice, you can always Google, you can always go to YouTube. There's a gazillion out there. The second thing is thinking about your movement, right? So thinking about exercise. I know exercise is like a cringy word sometimes because you may be like, God, I have no desire to exercise, and that's okay. But remember that exercise and movement comes in various forms. So again, I encourage you to do what works for you. But the reason why this is important is because a lot of stress gets stuck in our body. So again, like I said, I said for me personally, like I know my tension sometimes and stress, it'll get kind of stuck in my neck and shoulders. I might need a massage, or I might need to do a body scan or do something else to try to move through that stress that literally gets stuck in my body. And for you, like I said, it may be your back, it may be your stomach, maybe headaches, or some other way that your body processes stress. But if you work on the movement, whether it be yoga, whether it be walking, whether it be running, whether it be biking, whether it be swimming, whatever way that you want to move your body, that is going to be important to be releasing the stress that can get stuck in your body. So that's my second one. Is really to make sure you're incorporating and being intentional about your movement, about your exercise. And again, do what works for you, and also physician approved. I got to say that, I got to say that. Of course, what you're able to do and approved by your physician, but also what you enjoy to do. And don't force yourself to do something that you hate because you're not going to want to do it. Right. So do challenge yourself, but do things that you love to do. And then my third one, and one of my favorite ones actually is something called it's a 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. But this is a really cool thing because again, when it comes to mind body connection, you really want to do your best to be in tune with what is going on with you mentally and what's going on with you physically, and understanding how the two things can be related to each other. Just as how sometimes when your body is screaming to you to rest, you really need to do your best to try to get rest, right? When your body is telling you like, yep, I have energy, then do your best to do whatever you need to do to be productive, right? But your body is giving you signals, and your mind too, right? Sometimes it's giving you signals like, okay, I'm ready, I have this momentum, I could do this, or no, I'm exhausted, I need a break, right? We have to be listening. And I'm about to give you the third and final tip for today, which is the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. So what you're going to do, again, this doesn't take a whole lot of time because again, I don't know about you, but I don't really have 5 hours of time a day to be devoted to self-care. I'm all about the self-care, but being realistic. So this is a short exercise that you can do when you have the time to do it. And actually you can do it right now, listening to this. So for the 5, you're going to count down 5-4-3-2-1. So for the 5, you're going to think about right now unless you're driving, listening to this, 5 things that you can see, right? So you're in this space. This exercise really goes through all of your senses. So the first thing is sight. So the 5 things that you can see around you, any 5 things that you can see, right? So for me, obviously I'm in front of a computer, so I can see my computer. I can see my keep growing sticker that's on the computer. I can see my tea that's sitting in front of me to try to help my throat, right? So that might be my third thing. I have my cell phone here. That's my fourth thing. And I have some notes. That's my fifth thing, right? So again, there's a lot of things around you, but what 5 things can you see right now? And before I go through the rest of them, what this is designed to do, you all, is to help you to be present, help you to be grounded, help you. It's not curing any anxiety, it's not curing depression, but it's just helping you to get to a peaceful, calm state with your mind and your body. Because usually, while we're not, we're I mean, it's like you see something on social media, there's so much negativity sometimes on social media. It's a lot to take in, right? You see news, something happened, something you're not like, it's a lot to take in. Your brain is processing a lot of information, and your body is too. So when you take the time to do this grounding technique, it can just give you a moment to get into the present moment, calm your brain, calm your body. So again, the 5 things are five. What are 5 things around you that you can see? So take a minute now, wherever you're at, again, unless you're driving, listening to this, keep your eyes on the road. But maybe if you're not driving and you're able to, then think about 5 things that you see around you. Okay, so just mentally, take some notes of what 5 things you see. So the 4, so we're counting down, right? So we did 5. So the 4 are 4 things that you can touch. Okay, so when you think about 4 things that you can touch around you, and it might be the same things that you already mentioned or not, right? So if you saw, I don't know, if you saw something that couldn't be touched necessarily before, then obviously that wouldn't be. If you said, I saw somebody walking on TV or something like that, if that was one of your sight things, then obviously that might be something you can touch. But it could be other objects in the room or other things around you. Like, what can you touch? Right. So I can touch my teacup that's right beside me. I can touch my computer. I can touch my cell phone. I can touch this pen. Right. So just finding 4 things around you. And again, you can do this right now, depending on what environment you're in. But what are 4 things around you that you can touch? Right. So first 5 where it was about sight, what do you see? And then the next 4 are what can you touch? Right. So again, it's keeping you in the present moment. If you're just now joining, we're actually in the middle of talking about the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique, which is something that can help you reduce some of your stress. It's a quick exercise that you can do. You can do it at any time that works for you, morning, evening, night, whatever works best for you. For the 3 is, what are the 3 things that you can hear? Do all for each and every one of us, self-care is a journey, and that's okay. But again, the goal is to be better than yesterday. Work on building yourself, work on growing into being a better version of who you are. So again, the 3 things that you can hear are next. So right now, when I think about what I can hear the air conditioning. I can obviously I can hear myself talking, right? So I can hear that, and I can hear some background noise in my house. So those are 3 things that you can hear. And again, depending on where you're at doing this exercise, obviously it's going to vary. You may be in a very loud environment where you can hear a lot of stuff going on, or you might be in a quiet place. So you really have to listen carefully if you're in a quieter place, like, and really take into account, like, what do you hear? And it might just be your own thoughts, and that's okay. That counts. Or it might be the air conditioning, or might be something else, right? But like, what can you hear? So that's 3. For 2, 2 is, what are 2 things that you can smell, right? What are 2 things that you can smell? Now, I will say, just being truthful right now, because I'm dealing with this cold situation, it's really hard for me to smell. so keeping that in mind, it's really hard for me to smell right now. So again, just depending on your day, obviously, you can think about what would you normally be smelling if maybe you're sick one day or something like that. So of course, these things are very again, customizable. But it depends. Like, you might be burning a candle. I love to burn candles. So it might be lavender that I'm smelling, or maybe if I was outside, I might smell fresh cut grass or something like that, right? So what can you smell around you? And then the last thing, number 1, is, what's one thing you can taste, right? One thing you can taste. So for me right now, I can still taste my tea that I'm drinking during this mental health moment, but that's a taste that I have. And for you, it depends. Like, you might have just eaten. What can you taste? in that moment, or maybe it's just your saliva, like, but what can you taste in that moment, right? There's many things that you can do for a healthy mind-body connection. These are just a couple, 3 quick tips today that I wanted to share with you. But the most important thing to do is to make the commitment to you. Putting yourself first, prioritizing your mental health. I absolutely positively know, and I'm going to talk more about it at the August 14th or August 18th event that I'll be keynoting. But I really do know what it's like to not have good self-care. I really know that life. I don't live that life now happily, but I know what it was like, right? But it's a journey. And again, all of us are at different points in our journey. And it absolutely is a journey to get to a healthy place where you can put yourself first, put your self-care first, prioritize your mental health. Very, very important. So, oh my goodness, whew, I'll be happy when this cold goes away. But excuse me. So those are the 3 tips that I have for you today when it comes to incorporating your your self-care, incorporating your that mind body connection, making that stronger, understanding where you are. It's a great thing to do, checking in with yourself again, doing the body scans when you can, making sure to have more movement in whatever way works for you and that brings you joy, and that's physician approved, right, for the exercise and movement. And then of course, third is you can try things like the 5 4 3 2 1 grounding technique, right? The goal is, how do I calm my body? How do I calm my mind? How do I get into a peaceful place so I can reduce some of my stress? We absolutely cannot control what happens to us. Most things, some things we can, but there's a lot of things that are going to happen to us in life that are completely outside of our control. Because of that, we will get stressed. That is a normal human response. You're going to get stressed. But the good news is you have an opportunity of how are you going to react to that? How are you going to allow that to affect your body? And how are you going to allow that to affect your mind? Right? You have that choice though. Right. So these are why I teach these tips, you guys, every single week. But yeah, it's really great when you can again constantly work on your peace of mind and getting into that state for your mental health and well-being. Right. So if you guys need me at any time, dr.nekeshiahammond.com. You can also check out, well, YouTube, also connect with me on there, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, dr.hammond, wherever it is that you're on social media. I would love to connect with you. If you need any resources, you can always reach out as well. Again, if you're in the Dallas area, Waxahachie area of Texas on Friday, August 18th, you can come out to the Waxahachie Convention Center. I'll be keynoting that wellness symposium that day in the morning. I would love to see you. So again, dr.nekeshiahammond.com has all the information of where to go to register and all that good things. It's completely free to the community due to some really amazing sponsors. So that's always a great thing. And lunch is provided that day for that conference. So hope to see you there. Hope you all have an amazing week. Be sure to try these tips. Again, add them to your toolbox. Do what works for you. And yeah, have a great week. I'll see you guys back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here live on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. Have a great week. Bye, guys.